and welcome to another pen video from me, Penultimate Dave. So I have another flashback review video here, and this is an interesting and special pen, and it's got a good story to it as well. So this was a pen that I purchased back in 2017, so I've had this now for about 7 years, and I recall I was buying quite a few pens from Chris at Truefay at the time, and I recall saying to him, when this pen comes out, I really want it. And he said, well, I can get it for you, but as you know, Pelikan are in Germany, so I've got to order it from Germany. And it's then going to come to the US, because that's where Truefay are based, and then he'll have to ship it back to the UK. So he said that it's going to be a little bit of a delay and a little bit of a journey in terms of carbon footprint, but you will get it eventually. I did a deal. I got a good price on this from Chris. Chris has always given me pretty good prices in the past, but what happened was it went from Germany to Belgium to the US, and he then shipped it to me, but it then went back to Germany, to Belgium, to the UK. So it was quite a long journey for this poor pen, but I'm glad that I got it. And this is the Pelikan M800 Royal Gold Raden. Now, Pelikan did come out with I think it was a platinum, Royal Platinum Raden, but it was the gold one that I really wanted. These are not cheap. These are Mackie pens. So this is not a cheap pen, but it is an M800. It's not an M1000, but I knew I just wanted it. And you've got the artist's signature here that you can see on the body here. It really is a nice pen. And if I unscrew that, I've got, on here, I've got a broad nib. I think it is broad. I'm just double checking. Yeah, it's a broad nib. And I remember I already had a few Pelikan M800s, and I tried the medium nibs, and I just wasn't that. They just didn't speak to me, the medium nibs. And I got some broad nibs, and I liked a broad nib, so I said to him, "Look, can you order this in a broad nib? You could post the cap. It does post deeply and securely. It's a beautiful pen. Like these strips here are Raden strips. They're abalone, but it's in gold, and I don't quite know how Pelikan do this. I don't know if they've got to get the abalone in that colour, or if they paint or dye that abalone, stain it. I don't know. I have heard of that happening on other products that use abalone shells. But it's a beautiful pen, and I don't know, like you can see here, probably when I rotate certainly for me, the light, I can see some purples and some pinks in that as well. So it really is a beautiful pen. Very glad that I added it to my collection, and an interesting story on how long it took to get to me, and what towns or what countries it had to go through just to get to the US and then come back to the UK. I'd hate to think what that carbon footprint was on this pen, but and not only that, the Pelikan pens, the Mackie pens, are actually, they are made, I believe, in Germany, and then they are shipped to Japan for artists to then do the Mackie work and then ship back to Germany. So you can see the amount of travel the pen had done to get into my hands. But I love this pen. It's a beautiful pen, and it's got an 18 karat gold broad Pelikan nib there. Would I ever sell this pen? No, I wouldn't. It's a pen that I love in my collection, and I've got a couple of Pelikan M1000 Radens, and this is the M800 Royal Gold Raden, and I don't think I'd sell any of them because they are really nice pens. So I think with that, let's do a comparison with other pens. So from left to right, we have a Benu Euphoria Earl Grey Tea. We have a Mont Blanc Around the World in 80 Days. We have a Marjan Titanium TI 136. We have a Visconti Ecstasy de Oud. We've got a Visconti Homo sapiens Bronze Age oversized in the lava. We've got a Pelikan M800 Royal Gold Raden. We've got a Parker Duofold Prestige Ruthenium Chisel. We have a Mont Blanc Le Petit Prince Aviator Solitaire Duet. We have a Visconti, and this is the Homo sapiens Caput Mundi. And we have a Visconti Homo sapiens Corsani 90. So I think let's now do a writing sample. Now, typically I would normally ink this up with an ink from Pilot Washizuku called Inaho. I'm getting low on that bottle, and you can't get that ink anymore, so I'm inking it up with a different ink. So this is the Pelikan M800, and it is the Royal Gold Raden. Now, if anybody here watching this video has an almost identical replacement for Inaho, let me know, because if it is identical, I would like to get a lot of bottles of that ink. Inaho is a really nice gold coloured ink. The nib in here is a broad, and it's an 18 karat gold nib from Pelikan. And the ink in here is Herbin today, Ambre de Bermanie, which is a nice brown ink, but it's not Inaho. And I really would like to get Inaho again. If anybody in the UK's got a bottle of Inaho that they don't want, or they want to sell it, then let me know, because I would be interested in picking that up as well. In terms of line variation, we are definitely getting, I'd say, a little bit more towards a Western Broad. I can push that nib a bit more and get a little bit closer, or a little bit wider, maybe towards a double broad. But you can see here that this is a juicy wet nib. More vertical lines, there's no hard starts or skips, so that actually is a very well tuned nib. In terms of ink wetness, this is a wet ink, I should say. You're going to see how wet this is. Right, this is insanely wet. Cross strokes maybe not quite as wet, but still fairly wet. What do I like? What do I not like about this pen? Well, this was a pen that I fell in love with back in 2017, and I said to Chris at TrueFair at the time, I need this pen. I have to get it. It's not a cheap pen. It was about $2,000, I think, at retail, and then I got a very good discount from Chris at the time. It was easy money for him because he could just buy it and then sell it. He made a little bit of a profit on it, and he was able to get it into my hands. So I liked it enough to buy it then. I've liked it enough to keep it in my collection for the last 7 years. I do write with it, not as often as some of my pens, but I do write with it and try to write with it quite a lot if I can. So there's really nothing that I dislike about the pen. I think I probably, if I could get a Pelikan M800 medium nib that actually wrote nicely for me, I probably would go for a medium nib. But my experience of about 4 medium nibs from Pelikan on the M800s were, I'd say, lackluster. They just have not written like other medium nibs to me. And they've been a bit toothy, a bit scratchy, times misaligned. I've not been a fan of those medium nibs, and it's a shame. Maybe I will get a medium at some point that I will like, and maybe I'll unscrew this nib and swap it out. So there you have it. That's my flashback review of the Pelikan M800 Royal Gold Raden in a broad 18 karat gold nib. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next pen video. Bye-bye.